Let me close the door. 1 second. I'm back. So why I'm choosing to film this now is beyond me. I haven't showered, haven't shaved, but I've continued to collect vinyls. That hasn't stopped at all, and I've gotten a lot since the 2 videos that I put up. And at this point, it's been too long since I put those up to really be able to remember what I reviewed and what I didn't. It would... I don't know, maybe I should watch through the videos and then just start with, like, the ones I haven't already talked about, but I kind of like the idea of just going through the whole collection Anthony Fontana style, just grabbing a stack of them, talking for, like, 15 minutes or so about them, and then, you know, continue on to the next video. Let's give it a shot. Grabbed a stack. Let's start. Well, we got a couple ACDC records. Where's the light? There you go. That's real nice. This is ACDC's Highway to Hell. I really only know the title track off this one. A lot of my classic rock albums are ones that I just pick up for, like, the one track on them. Don't know if I've ever actually spun this all the way through. But, you know, great album cover. Where this dude's got, like, a weird devil tail and horns and, you know, gotta love 70s Australian metal. I was gonna say 80s, but 79, almost the 80s. 79. Another ACDC, Back in Black, their classic album. The nice blind emboss of the title, Back in Black, very, very nice. Slight outline on the title, again, embossed, really good. It's got Back in Black, Hell's Bells, You Shook Me All Night Long, Let Me Put My Love Into You, classic. Again, just picked it up because it's Back in Black. You gotta have Back in Black. But this particular copy, the Back in Black is the first track on the album, and during the intro riff, you know, during that bit, totally out of key, it skips a bunch until it reaches when he starts singing, then it plays perfectly, but leading up to that point, it plays for like a second and a half, then jumps forward, and then jumps forward again, and then it reaches where he's singing, and it's perfectly fine. So, I don't know what's up with that, but, yeah. I am just squatting. Aerosmith's Permanent Vacation. It's the only Aerosmith album I have, but it's got, you know, the good ones on it. Dude Looks Like a Lady. That's the only one. I thought this had some more on it. It's literally just Dude Looks Like a Lady. Not a huge Aerosmith fan, honestly. Steven Tyler seems fun and all, but just never got all that into his music. I like the album cover. It's kind of cool and interesting. Almost kind of looks like a, what is it, flashcard? Is that what they're called for, like, tattoos? Yeah, not too much to say about that. I don't think I've ever played it all the way through. Like I said, a lot of the classic rock albums are just that, just picking them up for the album. Aha! Let me take this out of its plastic sleeve so it's not Glare Town. Alice in Chains. Is it called Jar of Flies? Yeah, the Jar of Flies EP. It's 8 songs. That's kind of long for an EP. Or is it 7? I think it's 8 songs. Rotten Apple, Nutshell, I Stay Away, No Excuses. Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7. 7 songs long. Classic Alice in Chains album. 7 songs, so it's like, it's a longer EP, mini album, maybe you might call it. My good buddy John got me into this album the summer after I graduated from college in 2016, and really kind of started me down a path of 90s grunge music that I had never really explored before. So we got this, and then later on I've got a bunch of other the 90s era grunge albums. But this is a double album, actually. It's got that, and then it's got another EP of theirs, Sap. This was their first EP, I think. I've listened to this once. I don't really remember what was on it or whether I cared for it much. But the Jar of Flies EP is so good. Rotten Apple's amazing. I Stay Away, No Excuses, so good. And one thing that this album really, really exemplifies that I think would be interesting to explore is the use of the harmonica in the 90s grunge scene. It shows up more than you would expect, because when's the last time you heard harmonica in like a rock song or an alt-rock song nowadays? But back then, it showed up a lot, especially on this album. I think it shows up a decent amount in Blind Melon's album as well, which I have, but probably won't get to in this video. Yeah, can someone do some research on that and maybe do a cool little video essay about harmonica in grunge music? Because I'd watch it. I don't know if anyone else would, but I'd watch it. We're back into some classic rock. Alright, we have the Allman Brothers Band, Brothers and Sisters. I like this album because it's got like a little boy on the front, and then you flip it over, and then it's got a little girl. So it's kind of like either could be the album cover, depending on what you want. That's kind of fun. My mom is really into the Allman Brothers Band. I remember growing up, she would mention them a lot. Oh, great inner sleeve photo. Like, the whole band and all their families, I'm assuming, maybe just friends. I don't really know anything about this album, but I like it. It's a really good album. The Allman Brothers are really, really good, I think. Like, party music, surprisingly. They're good to throw on in the background. Like, it's interesting enough that it doesn't completely fade away into the background, but it doesn't really demand your attention if you just want something to have on. It's good. If you've never listened to the Allman Brothers Band, not a bad album to start with. Because this has, it's got Jessica on it, which is, if you've ever watched Top Gear, that whatever that little intro riff is that they play in Top Gear, that is off this album. It's how this song starts. It's like a cover of it, but that is the riff from Jessica. Ramblin' Man on here as well. If you ever played Guitar Hero World Tour or Guitar Hero 3 back in the day, Ramblin' Man was on there. That was one of my first introductions to Allman Brothers Band back in the day. So yeah, that's Brothers and Sisters. And then, of course, their probably most well-known album, Eat a Peach, with the great big peach truck. Allman Brothers Band, with the rumor that the brother got hit by a peach truck and that killed him. That's what my mom always believed, but I don't think that's actually accurate. No, he died of like a drug overdose, didn't he? But this is a double album, 2 LPs. Very, very 70s, inside fold, whatever you want to call it. Really, really cool artwork. Very detailed. Like, you could spend a while looking at this. And honestly, yeah, like, listening to the Mountain Jams, looking at this, probably pretty cool. So the way this album is set up is it's got a handful of songs on side A and side C, I guess you would call it, on one side of each of the albums. Let the truck go by. And then on the back side of each of the records, there's Mountain Jam, which is literally just like a live recorded jam session of the band. Which is, it's really interesting to listen to because each of them go on for like 20, 30 minutes. It's really, really cool. And it's really cool. So yeah, a lot of these classic albums I picked up for like just a handful of dollars. Like, they're not in great shape, but they're, I don't know. I really like the era. I grew up with my mom listening to this stuff. It went off onto me, and now I really, really enjoy it. Another Allman Brothers, this is just a best of album, which when I first started, I need to switch the way I'm sitting. This is really uncomfortable. Alright, that's a little better. Alright, when I first started record collecting, I always thought that best of albums were kind of lame. Like, what do you want a best of album for? Get their actual records, man. But for bands that I don't know super well and don't only really know a handful of hits off them, don't know the records, don't know the deep cuts, a best of album is a great way to decide whether or not you really want to delve further into their stuff. And again, I picked this up for like $2 right when I started collecting records. It was very early on. And it's got great songs on it. It's really good. It's got Ramblin' Man, Midnight Rider, Little Martha, Jessica's on here. Great songs. Great songs. So yeah, if you were like me and you're like, best of albums, don't be like that. Best of albums are a great way to get to know a band a little better. Moving on, one of the first like actual current albums that I have. Alt J's debut album. What's this called? An Awesome Wave? Yes. Does it actually say anywhere? 99% sure this album is called An Awesome Wave. I have no idea what this is. What is this a picture of? Some kind of river delta? I talked about this. I definitely reviewed this album. I had this the last time I shot an album collection thing. And I still don't know what it is. Haven't looked into it. But it's some kind of digitized... It definitely looks like some kind of river system. I don't know. Love Alt J. As I said before. And I feel like I realized this before people started making big points about it. At least before I... So what makes them really, really unique, I think, largely is their percussion. The fact that the drummer never hits a hi-hat or cymbals really at all, ever, which is wild. And I feel like that is the biggest influence on what makes them sound so unique, is their percussion. And I discerned this myself. I'm very proud of myself for that. I feel like I'm getting better at music critique. But yeah, so good. His voice is really high and nasal and whiny, and for the longest time my brother hated every time I put on All J because he could not stand the guy's voice. But I wore him down, and he likes Alt J now, which is the same thing that happened to me with, what are they called? The War on Drugs. My roommate really, really likes The War on Drugs. I was never a huge fan, and then I watched the last episode of season 7 of Shameless, and they played a War on Drugs song at the end, and I was like, this song is perfect. This is amazing. I need to listen to these guys more, and I'm sold now. War on Drugs are great. But yeah, this has like their classic songs that blew them up in the first place. Breeze Blocks, probably their best known song, I think. Tessellate, Fitz Pleasure. Matilda is like one of their top songs on Spotify. I don't really like it though. I don't understand why it gets so much play. And the closer track on this, Taro, Taro, I think, is really, really cool. It's really got a very kind of like Asian sound to it, and I think it's because of a particular instrument they're playing. I'm not sure what it's called. We know that instrument where it's got like a big triangular body and it's only got 2 strings, and you play it with like a great big plectrum. I think they use that instrument on that song and really, really gives it that kind of like sound of the Orient, whatever you want to call it. I don't know. And then this is their second album. This is the front. I can't tell because it's literally the same image on both sides, which kind of annoys me. Like, I wish they, like, where's the rest of this painting? I want to see it. But no, it's just, it gets like cut down the middle, and then it's the same thing again. I want to say this is called All This Is Yours. I don't know why. Is that the name of the album? But it's interesting because like the inside sleeve is exactly the same as the other one. It's just the name of the songs and the lyrics all just fit within this inner sleeve, and it's the exact same fonts, exact same color, spacing. It's all exactly the same, which I thought was interesting that they just kind of like kept it going. But I'm a little disappointed because like when you have a double records, which both of them are, you have so much real estate here to do something cool, and they just put lyrics on it, which I don't know, put a little insert for that. Why not do that? Oh, and these are colored records. I forgot about that. One second, is the other one a colored record? I don't think it is. I think it's just, this isn't a double album. It's got a great big gatefold, but it's not a double album. Forgot about that. That's just a black record. Black vinyl. Polyvinyl. Whereas this one, it's got a little inner sleeve. Oh, it's got, oh, what's this? 2 of the band members with their heads like forced together. And this one is a transparent blue. Very nice. And it was cool when you ordered them. The records could be like one of 4 colors, and there is no way of picking what colors you got. They just pressed them in a bunch of different colors and threw them into sleeves, and what you got is what you got. So I thought that was kind of fun. And then this one is yellow. So I think you had choices of them being like green, blue, red, yellow, maybe purple. just because those are the colors that are heavily featured on the cover, and they could be any of those colors. I thought that was a really cool idea. More people should do that. I don't know how long we've been recording, but I'm gonna do a couple more. Sound good? Let's do like a handful more. Welcome to the floor. Nice of you to join me. I'm fully reclined. Alright, so we are continuing on with the A's. Again, I reviewed this in my first vinyl update video. Debut self-titled album, I believe, by Canadian band Alvvays, spelt with 2 V's, but pronounced Always. I think they blew up a little bit with their second album that had, what is it, Dream Girl? I forget what the name of the single off that album was. I honestly wasn't in love with it. I thought it was kind of a snoozer, which they are dream pop, so I guess that kind of makes sense. But I didn't love it. It wasn't great. This album, though, I like quite a lot. I think my favorite track on it is Party Police. Just the opening lick on the guitar is just... it's dripping in reverb, and it's really, really nice. Oh, that little walk down right there at the end, it's so good. If you haven't listened to Always and you want to listen to a song by them, forget Marry Me Archie, or Archie Marry Me, or whatever. Just listen to Party Police. It's so good. And I love that album cover. It's so colorful. I don't really know where the picture's from, who these people are, if it was staged, or if this is a photo that existed already. That's like, it looks like it's from the 60s or something. Just the colors, and it's so good. No idea what it is. I just know that I like it. Don't know much, but I know what I like. And then the inner sleeve's got some weird, I have no idea, I have no idea what this is. No idea what's going on. Oh, this is a colored record. I remember that. And it's a really, really cool, like, kind of, it's not quite a splatter, but it's not just a solid, like, baby blue. There's some darker blues and some whites streaked across there. Like the color an awful lot. Fits very well with the album cover, too. I feel like if you're gonna make a record colored, it should be complementary to the album cover, for sure. What do we got next? America, fuck yeah! I think America is kind of underappreciated. They did the song A Horse with No Name, if you're familiar with it. Again, classic rock. Or, I mean, I'm just using the classic rock as a very broad term. They're folk rock, I guess they would fall into the category. I discovered these guys after I got really into Crosby, Stills, Nash & Young, and I was looking into other kind of just bands with a group of guys all playing the guitar and then having like other instrumentation backing them up, and these guys popped up because I think maybe I was talking to the guy I was buying a record from and he mentioned them. A lot of times that happens. But yeah, America, this album I like a lot. It's a really solid album. I think I've maybe only listened through it maybe 2 times or so, but it's really nice just to throw on. It's not nearly quite as energetic and upbeat as like Deja Vu by CSNY. But Horse with No Name is a solid song, for sure. And it's really nice. It's a vibe. Yeah, don't have too much to say about it. If you've never checked them out, give them a listen. If you like largely acoustic, I think they're all acoustic arrangements. It's really good. Some solid guitar playing. One of my more expensive albums, because they only did 1 pressing of this, I think. This is Anberlin's Dark is a Way, Light is a Path? What's it called? Dark is the Way, Light is a Place. I always want to say path. I'm not sure. Dark is the Way, Light is a Place. I got really into this album in high school. I discovered Anberlin, fun story, because I'm super into My Chemical Romance. Was in high school, still love those guys. And they were doing a show out on the West Coast that was going to be live streamed. And I was like, oh, sweet, I'm going to watch the live stream and see My Chemical Romance perform live. That'll be really cool. But it was a really late show, and I was on the East Coast, so it was even later, and I had school the next day, so I was like, screw it, I'm just going to go to sleep. So I never actually got to watch the live stream of My Chemical Romance playing live. But Anberlin was an opener for them, and they played the song Closer, which is on this album, and I really, really liked it. So I dove a little further into the band, found this album, started listening to it, Really, really, really like this album. Listened through this album in its entirety quite a lot in high school. And I always kind of forget about them until I go through this again. The final track on this album, Depraved, is amazing. It's just, the word that came to mind was Sonic Firestorm. No, but at the end, it's really, really cool. It's just, there's not a single room for more noise at the end, which I love. I really like when songs are produced in a way, at least when it's supposed to be like a really upbeat, loud song, where there's no room left. Like, the crash cymbals are filling out all the empty space. The bass is going wild. The vocals are really killing it. It's Depraved. Final track on this album. So, so good. Love the album cover too. I don't know if it's a painting or a picture, because it's like a horse falling pretty aggressively. And I hate to think that it was a picture, because that looks like it would hurt. But I don't know. Maybe it's a painting. Maybe it's a really, really good painting. My grandmother used to be able to paint animals really realistically, so maybe someone else could too. So, moving on. This is an odd little one. There Will Be No Peace by the Angelus, or the Angelus. Who knows? I think they're from Texas. I found these guys because I was watching a video by Vinyl Rewind, who is a channel who does vinyl videos on YouTube, and he was sent this by their record label or by the band, I'm not sure. And at least the opener track on this album, and it's kind of a two-part opener track, is really, really solid. I don't honestly remember the rest of the album all that well, but it's pretty hard rocky. Excuse me! But it's really cool cover because it's a die cut, so see, it's a die cut. That's what that means. Is this a colored album? I don't think it is. I am wrong! I think this was called, like, Beer and Cheese. I remember now. Yeah. It's like a yellow and white, kind of dark yellow. I think it was called, like, Beer and Cheese or something like that. So, a cool colored album. As I said, remember what I was talking about, how the color of the album should complement the album cover, which it doesn't always. Most people do, but it doesn't always. It's a very similar color to kind of what's going on there. But yeah, this is very vocals and guitar driven, decent amount of distortion. But yeah, There Will Be Peace and Thunderbolts I Scatter is the opener track on this, essentially, and it's really good, really, really solid. Kind of subdued vocals. The singer has a way of it's kind of mellow singing, from what I remember. Like I said, I haven't listened to it in a while, but maybe I will now, because I have nothing to do today, so we'll see. All right, I think I have two more, and that'll be it for this one. Go back in. Mom, help! Alright, and then this one, right. Hospice by the Antlers. Don't really know anything about this band. And as I think I said before, I've listened to this record a couple times, and each time I put it on, I just completely zone out, and I'm, like, done with the side of the record, and I'm like, what did this album sound like? I have no recollection. It's very macabre, and quiet, and subdued, but it's got a nice sound to it. I'll need to sit down and actually pay attention when I listen to this at one point. Still haven't, but I discovered this on Spotify at one point. Got some creepy photo on the inside of, like, a hospital wing. I guess, yeah, hospice, right? Hospitals, whatever that is. But yeah, cool little album that was definitely, like, an impulse purchase. Just happened to see it, and I was like, hey, I recognize that album cover. I'm gonna buy it. So literally went in pretty much blind, not remembering at all what the song that I knew off the album sounded like, and I don't regret it. It was great. I like the album cover. It's cool. And the last one for this video, Krieg und Frieden, or Krieg und Frieden, I don't know. I don't speak German, by Apparat, who is a German, I hope. Sorry if you're not, because he's going to see this. Yeah, I'm addressing him directly. Apparat, I'm sorry, because I know you're going to see this. Really, really cool album, and I'll reiterate what I said the last time I reviewed this. He only sings on 2 of the songs in this album, and they're some of the best tracks. I wish he would sing more. That being said, I haven't checked out the rest of his discography, so maybe he does, and I'm just ignorant to the fact. So, love this album cover. It just looks so cool. It makes me think of like the French Revolution for some reason. If you've ever seen Master and Commander, it kind of looks like the hats the naval captains wear. This guy looks very kind of haunted. But yeah, 44 noise version is so good. I've really gotten into just like noisy soundscapes that a lot of people would probably consider boring, but I love it. A recommended track off this 44 noise version. Put on some headphones or put on some very loud speakers and just crank it up and just let it wash over you. It's so good. Yeah, Apparat. Check him out. He's really cool. So that's it for this video. I think this is longer than I intended for it to be. But I'm going to do a couple of these. Maybe I'll pop them out pretty frequently because this took no time at all to do. So, thanks for watching. As you can see, we've got a lot more to go. So, see you later. Thanks for watching. Bye.